All right, football fans, here we are at Precise Football Evaluation, and this is our first episode. And the NFL prospect that we'll be looking at for our first episode will be Alabama's quarterback Bryce Young. I have a few notes on him over here, and you'll see it. We'll go through the highlights and everything. I will go through a couple of his stats. Again, I'm not huge on stats. I just use it as like a base guideline. You just kind of want to see if, they're a big turnover machine, or, if they're throwing a lot of touchdowns with yardage. My biggest thing is that I love to evaluate the film. I like watching them in play. I don't care about pro days. I could care less about the combine. Really, the only thing I'm looking at the combine is their 40 speed. As far as how many times they bench press, vertical jump, that's nice stuff. I've seen guys that just blew the charts away at the combine and turn out to be nobodies in the NFL. So the combine to me is just a measurement thing, just to see their athletic ability and things of that nature. I would prefer to look through the film. And of course, making these videos around 10, 15, 20 minutes, I'm hitting more on the highlights. Now, when I do more research, when I'm doing my actual research of the players, like depth research, I go far in film. I'll watch entire games. But you can do a lot with the highlight films, and I understand that these are their best plays, some of their best plays. But you can still get an idea of what a player is capable of doing in their highlights. One thing, this is going to be a quarterback, and the first few evaluations that I'm going to do are going to be the quarterbacks, and go ahead and get those guys out the way. The biggest thing that I do in my evaluations of the quarterbacks, I look at three things: the footwork, the arm strength and mechanics, and whether they can pass to the sideline. And you can say, well, all quarterbacks can pass to the sideline. Sure, I can go out there and pass to the sideline. But to me, the sideline pass, whether it's 5 yards, 10 yards, or 30 yards, that's the most difficult pass to do in the NFL. Just my opinion, but not every quarterback can do it. In fact, very few can do it well. That's why you see a lot of guys like Teddy Bridgewater and Aaron Rodgers. They're middle of the field passers. You don't see them go to the sidelines very often. They're 5 yard dumpers. They don't take a lot of chances. That's why Aaron Rodgers' turnovers numbers are normally very, very low. It's because he's not a huge chance taker. He keeps the ball in the middle of the field. But to me, to be successful, with the exception of like a Rodgers, that sideline pass is key. Not every quarterback has the arm to get it out there and to get it out there accurate. You're limited by the sideline. You're also limited to your coverage. That's why a lot of them like to go to the sidelines, because with the safeties, especially if you're playing a Tampa 2 defense, the safeties have got deep halves. So now you're depending on the corners basically to run man or a press zone, or you're doing a zone coverage. They're really in that, but I see a lot of teams, they do a lot of sideline passes when it's man, because you can act as you're going inside, and then you can take it back outside, and the ball just has to be there. And I've got a little marker here that we'll go through with it, where I'll be able to pinpoint and show you a few things, as we can see right here. And I'll show you that, the quarterback's job is to put it in a window. Just say, for instance, if you wanted this guy right here, if he was going to go up and over, what he's trying to look at is a window over here to put it in. Really, the wide receiver himself is the one that is supposed to make the adjustment to the ball. If this guy was running an inside route, his job is to put it in a window that they constantly practice on that particular pass play, that he needs to put that ball in that box, and this wide receiver needs to adjust to it. So for me to pinpoint the areas that they are best at doing, to me, the sideline pass is the most important and the hardest. Drew Brees was excellent at it, as well as Tom Brady. Guys like that. Let me make sure it's not. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's the measurables. Here's the size of Bryce Young. He's 5'10", 204 pounds, and everybody's saying that he's undersized, which he is. They want to compare him to Drew Brees. Drew Brees was actually 2 inches taller. Drew Brees was 6 foot, 205. He's really more of Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is 5'10" and about 204, 205, 208 pounds, somewhere in there. So he's the exact size as Kyler Murray. It has to be a concern in the NFL because they take a beating. One thing about him that I can see in his stats is that he wasn't a big rusher. Just in his senior year, in 12 games, he attempted 49 rushes for 185 yards and had 4 touchdowns. So he done most of his damage in the pocket, and I used to be a huge pocket passer lover. The NFL is really forcing that away. Your pocket passers like Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, they're really leaving the league. Me and a buddy of mine has an argument of the categories of quarterback. He thinks that there's pocket passers and there's running quarterbacks. To me, I think there's three. You had the pocket passer, you had the running quarterback, and you have the mobile backs, which is pass first, but they can run and get you the yardage when they need to. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes are three examples of who I call the mobile quarterbacks. They don't have design plays really for their running ability like Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray. They're going to beat you with your arm first, but once the protection collapses, they have the capability of giving you the first down. First down. We've seen some of these guys have long runs, and that was something that like the players like Tom Brady and Drew Brees couldn't give you. So I think that really the league is going more to a mobile style quarterback, to where they're going to kill you with the arm and with their pocket presence first, and if need be, they can use their legs, aka Patrick Mahomes. I think I got a little dot right there. Yep. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go through his stats real quick. Like I said, I'm not big on stats, but I do want to present them just to see what their numbers are. His sophomore year, he had 15 games at 4,872 yards passing, 47 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. They had a quarterback rating of 167.5. In his senior year, he had 12 games at 3,328 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, with a rating of 163.5. So to me, he's a high touchdown throwing guy and a low turnover guy. We see this in a lot in college. College players, they can blow the stats up. They play against lesser talent, like you get in Alabama against Tulane, or something of that nature, where it's just lopsided, and they can really, really pad stats in those particular games. I really try to concentrate more on the tougher competition if I'm looking at stats. I'm also looking whether they're playing away or home, because to me that matters, because in the NFL, half your games are going to be away. And if you're not great, RG3, for an example, when you go back and look at his Baylor stats, he was terrible away from home. When he played away games, and it didn't matter the competition, his stats was substantially lower on away games than they were at home. And of course, quarterbacks are going to play better at home, but they were substantially different. And when he beat good teams, he beat them at home. When he played good teams away, he got slaughtered. And so I looked at that as that when he got to the NFL, half of his games were going to be away. And, I understand the injury thing like that. I had RG3 as a buzz just for the simple fact was he was a read option quarterback. And that was the year of the read option with him, Colin Kaepernick, and Russell Wilson. The difference was with Russell Wilson is that Russell Wilson could pass. And we see Russell Wilson now just 9 or 10 years into his career, he's beat all up. And that's one thing that I hate about the running quarterbacks. They're really only going to give you 10 or 11 years. You look at Cam Newton. Big guy, bigger than most of these quarterbacks, 11 seasons. Now, I've always thought Cam Newton was overhyped and overrated. A lot of people disagree with me. 11 seasons, eight of those were losing seasons. Just is what it is. But anyway, we're on Bryce Young here, so let's just go through a couple of his. He had a 4.340, a 4.5 inch vertical jump, and he had a 10-foot 9 inch broad jump. Great athlete. Fine. Seen great athletes in the past. Uh, so he was the Sporting News College Football Player of the Year in 2021, Heisman Trophy winner in 2021, AP Football Player of the Year, Maxwell Award, Davey O'Brien Award, which is the Quarterback of the Year award, Manning Award in 2021. All these are 2021, by the way. Consensus All-American and SEC Offensive Player of the Year. So he has the accolades. He has the stats. He has the athletic ability. 4.3 40 for a quarterback, that's flying. But the thing is, they didn't ask much from him for running in college. So will they ask him to do more in the NFL? We shall see. But now we're going to go on to the film. And I'm going to make some points here as we go through the film. I will be stopping it sometimes to show you a few things. The number one thing that I want you to look at, the biggest thing to me in every position in football, is the footwork. We've got to watch his feet. If he throws off of his back foot a lot, that is a huge concern for me in the NFL. You cannot throw off your back foot in the NFL and be successful. Johnny Manziel had a terrific pro day. I hate pro days. Pro days are a joke. If I was a scout or a GM, I wouldn't even go to them. People praised his pro day, said, oh, he hit 63 or 66 passes. He was throwing to a wide receiver by himself, no defense, no offense. It's nothing but, it's like going to a show. Pro days mean nothing to me. Show me what you can do on this film. Show me what you can do while you're on the film. And I told everybody, I said, Johnny throws off his back foot. Johnny's going to have problems in the NFL. And sure enough, in his third preseason game, when he finally got to play a little bit, he threw off his back foot into the end zone. Touchdown. Or not touchdown, but interception. The NFL is a different league than college. You can get away with it in college. You will not get away with it in the NFL. These guys are 25, 30, 33 years old. These are not little boys. These are grown men with families and everything else. These guys have been doing it way longer than these younger guys coming in. Big reason why you see guys fail so much. You got these 20, 22-year-olds coming in here against guys that's 30, been in the league 10 years. So let's just look at some of the highlights here. Let's see how I can make this disappear. Okay, here we go. He's elusive, no doubt about it. I like that pass. It's in a crowded area. I don't want to see you throwing to wide open wide receivers. To me, that doesn't tell me a whole lot. I want to see if you can put it in that tight window that you're going to have in the NFL. And again, that's why a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL fail from colleges, because their windows are much bigger in college and they close very, very tightly in the NFL. That was a nice pass. I like that one. Let's watch his foot. Okay, he takes off again. He had that was a sideline pass, and his feet was. I just want to see more of his arm. Let's watch his feet if he steps forward. Yep, beautiful pass, touch pass. It was where it needed to be. It was up against the sidelines in the back of the steps into that throw. So he's got the mechanics. From what I've seen so far, he's got the mechanics. He's stepping into it. He's turning. He's got his outside shoulder or his inside shoulder pointing into his target. Beautiful pass, tight coverage, feet and arm. See, that's where he kind of throws off his back foot, and you see it was almost an issue. Here's what I'm talking about throwing off your back foot. Just pay attention. Watch right here. See how he kind of lobs it up, throwing off his back foot? NFL, that's an interception all day long. The coaches will have to try to correct that. I mean, he's just got all day. Wide open guy. He threw off balance. I didn't really like that pass. Watch. See how he's throwing, and he's kind of doing what we call shuffling, shuffling his feet. Not a very good technique. He's elusive, man. They threw off his back foot. Guy was wide open. He'll get away with that in college. NFL, he just cannot throw off that back foot. Even on the run, you've got to be able to. Your toe, the foot that goes forward when you pass, when you step into it, that wide receiver. The pass to the sideline weren't even that good. Watch this foot right here. He'll step with this one, which is his left, but he'll throw off of his right. He's a righty. He should be stepping forward with his left and putting his hips into it. Watch this foot right here. He's going to throw off this back foot. Even on the run, you still should be stepping with your elite foot. The guy's wide open. I can't I can't give him nothing on that. That's one thing about Alabama quarterbacks that's so tough to gauge with them. The talent around them is so amazing. When you look at this is an evaluation video, but I'm also going to be reacting to some very good and bad plays because I'm not a biased person. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I'm going to give you a straight up evaluation. I don't care if it's a player from the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm a huge Tar Heel fan. I'm going to give it to you straight. It don't matter to me. That's just how I evaluate. I don't commentate with bias. I don't analyze with bias, and I don't evaluate with bias. All right, he's looking. He's practiced this. This is what he's looking for. This is his window. And that's probably a bad analogy. That's about 15 yards difference. He's looking for the goal line. He's looking for this back pylon is what he's looking for. This is called a fade route. This guy here is going to go and he's going to fade. Oops. Okay. So that's the highlights right there. My evaluation of him, hey, he is no joke. I actually like him. Um, he's a mobile guy. He can throw the deep ball. He can throw the sideline. And the thing was, I didn't see a bunch of highlights where the wide receivers were wide open. That's not what you want to see. You want to see him throwing it in tight windows, being accurate on the deep ball, which I saw. Uh, his arm mechanics as well. I think he can correct throwing off the back foot. If the coaches work with him, quarterback coaches, position coaches, coordinator, if they can work with him on that back foot, because a lot of college quarterbacks, they get in a bad habit of doing that because you can get away with it in college. And some of them can't get rid of it. Johnny Manziel could never get rid of wanting to throw off the back foot. He had just gotten into a habit of doing it so much. He loved throwing on the run, and a lot of guys, when they're on the run from sideline to sideline, they want to throw off their back foot, and that's just the ball floats way too long in the air when you throw off your back foot. And in the NFL, them corners, safeties, even the linebackers, these guys are so fast that they can take a huge gap between them and the wide receiver, and they can close that gap at a rapid speed, in a very short time. They can make up that ground, and it really gets. They kind of fake the quarterback out a little bit because I mean sometimes the wide receivers, tight ends can look wide open, but they can close that gap so fast that they end up getting the interception. So I see great things, and I see why he's looking to be one of the top two picks in this year's draft. I have not done CJ Stroud yet, so I don't want to say he should be the number one pick over him. I need to evaluate CJ. I also need to evaluate Richardson from Florida and look at some other quarterbacks. I mean, it's not necessarily because the guys are drafted in the first round that they're going to be the top quarterbacks. We know, us football guys, we know that that's a lie. Look at look at Brody last year with the San Francisco 49ers. What was he, fifth round pick? And he probably ended up being the best rookie last year out of that class over Kenny Pickett and uh, the guy at Tennessee. I can't even think of his name right now. My mind slipped me. Malik Willis. Uh, I mean, he looked fantastic. So it's not necessarily that all the talent's in the first, second round. We all know that's to be false. Tom Brady was 199th pick in the sixth round. So it's not a guarantee. In fact, there's probably more bust in the first round. High expectations. Some guys can't handle it. But I like what I see with Bryce Young, and I really didn't know if I would or not. I think this guy, under the right system, I think under the right system with the right coach, I'm not sure if that's Carolina, and I'm not sure if that's Houston. You know, Houston's getting a new coach. Um, if I'm not mistaken, Carolina's getting a new coach. Their GM is doing some things that's very, very questionable there at Carolina. Maybe he's got a plan that I don't know, but I feel like I certainly could have done the situation a lot better than what he did. I mean, it's odd that I stay in Carolina and I'm a Bears fan, and it was Carolina that traded with us to get the number one overall pick. And I thought Ryan Poles did well on that. I felt like we got a super home run on that deal because Carolina Panthers has put all of that collateral in there for us to have, praying that Bryce Young or CJ Stroud is going to be a franchise quarterback. I mean, that's fine, but that's dangerous. But I'm going to continue to do the quarterbacks. I'm going to continue to evaluate the players. We're going to go through every position. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do just a position first, where I'm going to do all quarterbacks and then running backs and then wide receivers, or if I'm just going to do first rounders and then second rounders, because I'm going to be evaluating even post draft. Right now, we're in the pre draft. Once the draft happens, I'm going to have some videos where I'm going to take the teams and I'm going to break down the prospects, their rookies that they drafted, and see if these guys are going to fit the mold for their system, if they're going to be contributors to the team. So it's not going to be just evaluating the prospects individually. Post draft, I'll be doing videos. I'll end up doing all 32 teams before the season starts, going through their draft and maybe even some of their key additions and see if they've helped themselves or hurt themselves. So you can kind of get an idea on how I feel about maybe your favorite team. So we're going to do a whole lot of things. We're going to have fun with this, but I hope that you enjoyed this one. That is going to be it for me for the evaluation of Bryce Young. Hit the like, subscribe button. Put a comment down there. Comment a guy that you like to see get evaluated. Like I say, maybe it's a guy out of the HBCU colleges, Division III colleges, Division II, some FSC guys, whatever, because I'm not going to be able to get to everybody. We know that. There's a whole bunch of prospects out there, guys, that's going to be undrafted. So if you know of a guy that's like deep into draft or didn't get into draft or isn't projected to go into draft, put them in the comments below and I'll take a look at it. If I can find some highlight films on them or any kind of film on them, I'll do an episode and we'll see what we come up with. So that's it for me today. And this has been Heath Chavis. You have been watching Precise Football Evaluation. And until next time, you have a great day. We'll see you.